You know, it's been a while since, on this show when we talk about films that are just like say, huh, I've never seen this, I've never heard of this, and all that. Um, and then like you say, this time we're like checking out a film that was basically a TV show almost, like is edited together to make a film. In this case, Merlin of the Crystal Cave. Heard of this, and I'll be honest, sometimes I'm a bit of a sucker for swords and magic and all that, Victorian, Arthurian kind of stories.
I don't feel much like a king.
Caliburn, the sword of kings, is yours. You are right wise High King of all Britain, and such a king you will be. This moment is yours, and yours alone. Go now.
They're kind of interesting. So basically this story follows Merlin down through histories to the days of King Arthur, when he was learning magic and all that. And I try to be as fair and balanced as I can be when it comes to saying something that I have never seen before. And I kind of understand why this film would be spotlighted for this month, and that it has a bit of that magic, say, sometimes, when it comes to, the month of December, sometimes we're gonna, want to mean watching something that inspires us, that gives that magical feeling of the whole.
There was no enchantment then, and no dragons. Just a strange, lonely child, filled with longing for the father he'd never known.
Days and all that, and yeah, at the same time, I'm gonna be honest. I have to be honest about myself and say just I thought, say, the actors of this gave a good job.
Let's go. Let's go.
If Gordon does have to marry Ninian and she is stubborn enough to refuse him, it still hardly matters. She won't stay here.
And all that. At the same time, I'm gonna just say that this I didn't feel invested would be a word. Because, I'll be honest, as a production, I like the costuming. I really liked it.
This is not the end of it, Ninian. I promise you. All these years, you have tried our patience enough, by God. These grates would have given you a name, boy.
I thought it was really nice. Also the production value of it was not bad. Say, there's moments, say, when characters are going through caves or, just different locations and all that, which are fairly interesting. It gets the job done. I mean, I feel say, if this was just, I mean, I know this is probably a show at the same time, this was edited to, say, a full film release. And it was fairly interesting to, say, hey, because this is based off a book as well. And yeah, say, what Arthur going through all these things, say, hey, he's going through different places and all that. It starts from him as a young kid, and then as he gets older, and all that, and eventually, ends with him, and all say, hey, look at towards the future and all.
That morning was the beginning of something new for Uther Pendragon and for me. something I had not yet been shown. A king such as this land had never known before, nor would ever know again. Arthur.
All that stuff, and I thought, At the same time, I'm just gonna say, I feel like if I was watching this with someone else, maybe I would get more of a investment in it. At the same time, just like watching this, like going, It's like, for me, I feel like this film was a bit one of those kind of shows or films that you watch and you're just like, say, it's in the background and you're watching it, but at the same time, it's just like, say, oh, what's happening now and all that.
That future was not clear to me then, but I knew I was being drawn by a strange power. At first, I thought it was the gods themselves that led me. Later, I realized that it was a bird, a Merlin, that had drawn me up into those unfamiliar hills.
And you're watching it, but at the same time, it's just like, say, like, you think, like, say, this is interesting. At the same time, it's just like, say, what time is it and all that? Like, you're thinking, it's almost time for lunch and all that. And, or, as I say, I'm gonna pause this and go get a snack or something like that. Yeah, I mean, I feel like, say, this is a film that you're either gonna be, or slash show, that you're gonna be either invested in, or you're not.
And so, almost before I knew it, my first lesson had begun. Galapagos seemed to know everything, and he had a way of telling it that made it exciting, made me long to know more.
Did he teach you spells and magic?
Spells and magic? Always the same. There's more to this than spells and magic.
But is that where you learned your arts? Did Galapagos teach you?
You can never be taught such things, Ralph. Only reminded.
But that's just how I feel about it. I feel like this was just a film that I watched and I don't really have strong or very hard opinions on. I guess, like, say, I watched it and I just thought, okay. Like, I'm not gonna say, hey, I didn't like it, or I thought this was bad or something like that, because it didn't really give me much of a impression, is what I'll say. But, yeah, I mean, am I kind of glad I watched it? I will say yes. I liked the production aspect of it. I like the costuming and all that. I thought the visual effects, when they did them, were fairly well done. But, yeah. That's just how I feel, I guess, about it. But, what are your thoughts? Have you seen this, even the film, this series of it? Merlin and the Crystal Cave. But, yeah. And are you interested in, like, King Arthur around kind of stories? See you next time.